Yeah. I really need to stop talking about this guy because he doesn't add anything of value. He just says stupid shit like I'll be proven today. Search about pride and representation. He says some very stupid shit. So let's just get right into it.
I am making this video regarding some representation stuff and very concerned about the lack of representation for other people of different cultural, racial, ethnic, and different backgrounds. And this sort of has to do with since it's June and
Yep, it's a pride video. Not shocking coming from Kim, but you know, gotta talk about it.
it's just like another group celebrated their month in back in February. I think you can probably guess which one that is. Black History Month and Pride Month. Last month, it was Asian Awareness Month and no one cared at all. I don't know when the Latino Hispanic Month is, but yeah. I do not know when that is either. And I would like to know when that is, because I want to pay respect to the fellow Latino community, because just to pay some respect.
Latino Heritage Month is September 15th to October 15th. For anybody that cares. I assume a lot of you care, but still, that's the time thing.
Them. And also the native people, which I don't think they do have one, but yeah. And also regarding like the military for every single country, they all have this different date where they celebrate it. Seems like USA just had theirs this weekend, and Canada has their on November 11th in the fall season.
Okay, now May 1st to May 31st is Military Appreciation Month, so it's the same month as Asian Awareness Month. That may be why people in America don't care as much, because it's Military Appreciation Month as well.
So we have Black History Month. We have Pride Month. Literally last month was Asian Awareness Month, but people don't even care about us Asians. They didn't care about us at all. There is literally no notification thing going on saying or Google LLC saying it's Asian Awareness Month. Yet they do it for Black History Month, and they do it for Pride Month. Then why didn't they do it for the Latino community? They deserve their time too. And I'm quite sure the native people, they deserve their time too.
Native Americans have November as their month. It's very easy to understand. The month that has the most negativity towards Native Americans due to the fact that it's the month that celebrates, or at least in America, it's the month that celebrates us being kicked out of our country, is the month that has our history in it because it makes the most sense.
Because they're both basically people, they're only focusing on representation. They only focus on the African American community and people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, questioning, and whatever letters and numbers they just recently added.
Now, when people talk about representation, they aren't talking about these months. These months are not representation. They are usually celebrations of the history or events that happen that push the rights to the next level. People talk about representation, they talk about how they're represented in media, how there's more white people being represented in media than people of color, gay versus straight, all that, which you can agree with, you can disagree with. I don't personally care. If this show is good, I'm going to watch it regardless of who's represented in it. But that's what they talk about when they talk about representation, not these months. They're just wrong about something yet again.
So, why are we talking about, this so-called representation when we don't even care about the other people from other racial, sexual, sex, or cultural, ethnic backgrounds? If we had to give ourselves a special month in the Asian American community, we really had to just a couple of years back, we had to due to racism, we had to deal with a lot. We had to make our own one.
In America, Asian History Month, Asian Heritage Month, whatever you want to call it, was started in 1992. That is over 30 years ago. That is not a couple of years ago, that's 30 years ago. Now, maybe in Canada, it was a couple of years ago, but in America, it was 30 years ago.
And this is not just for the Asian Americans, the Asian Canadians. Now we're literally trying to do it for basically Asians everywhere. Because all people do is, oh, Happy Chinese New Year, Happy Lunar New Year, whatever. That's all they care about. They just say, oh, your special holiday, done. They don't care about representation. Yet they give like a big fat month for the the African American community, and they literally are trying to they're basically just using it for marketing. And they didn't really do it for us Asians, did they? They didn't do it for the Latinos, did they? They didn't do it for the Hispanic. They didn't do it for the Native people. And it would be much nicer if there was this festival that was held for every single cultural, racial group, ethnic group, so people would be more represented.
Alright, Kim. I'm gonna give you some easy solutions. You want it to be a festival for every single ethnicity, sexualities, shit like that. Okay, great. Do it yourself. Be the change you want to see. Do not rely on others to be that change. Be it yourself. If you want this to happen, put the work in. Anybody can plan a festival if you put enough time into it. But you don't want to because you're lazy.
Oh, or you're not represented. And it would be more fair that way. But I would not be having this conversation when people are literally questioning this and others, and there's a lack of attention given to other people. And if a person like me is speaking about this, people will call us racist or call us anti-LGBT, anti-trans, or xenophobic, or a whole bunch of other stuff. Oh, you are so offensive. Why don't you celebrate with us? Because you don't care about us. And if everyone wants their own moment, at least respect us for it. If we want to give some attention to the African American community and the LGBT community, then give us the rest of us. Do that. You had your chance last month, and us Asians, we're not too happy about that. And anti-Asian hate crimes are still going on. And
now, if you look at statistics, African Americans and the LGBT have a significantly higher chance of getting hate crime than Asians. That's not to say Asians don't get hate crime. That is to say that these people are getting hate crime at a larger amount, so their month's taking precedent of an Asian month. If you want to use hate crime as the statistic that proves it, would make sense. But in reality, it's just that most people just don't care, and that is bad. But it's as bad as say Japan not caring about foreigners or something like that. It's the same exact thing essentially.
People, they would rather focus on hate crimes done on people who are black or LGBT, and they would only focus on that, and they don't care if it's a person of another background. We don't care if you get attacked or not. So what happened to this representation thing? If you don't really care about other races, then you might as well just scrap that.
Now, representation is the idea that media does not have enough gay, black, Asian, whatever characters in media, so they have to make new characters to fit the diversity quota. Now, agree with it or not, I don't care. But you're misusing what representation means. It's not these months. These months are to teach people. These months are to commemorate an event. They are not made to push representation. That's just foolish. To even start to imply it is foolish.
Why is there like a need for trying to do this kind of stuff if you don't really care about the other races? Why do they deserve special treatment? Everyone then deserves special treatment then. It's literally and the news and the media, and they're just rubbing it in people's faces. And why did we get a chance? Because literally the Asian community and the Latino, Hispanic community and Native community, yeah, we're just sitting back like, hey, what about us? What about us? Why not us?
Now, being Native American myself, I think I have more right to have input on what Native Americans think. And most of us don't give two shits. Like you shouldn't. Who cares? You have a month. If you care about so much, make a big deal about it. That's how these months became a thing. Native Americans have a month, it's November. Latinos have a month, I forget what it is. I think it's February to something, I don't know. But still, these months exist. Make big deals about them if you want people to make big deals. Be the change you want to see.
Because maybe like give like the Latinos and the Hispanics like a special month in July, or maybe in September, or maybe they have the Native people have their special day month, and maybe August, or like sometime during the summer months, maybe spring, like April. So that would be like everybody but wins. But why don't we do this? I'm just saying this. And before you call me racist or anti-LGBT, think about it. If we really wanted representation and equality, cut out this oppression, and everyone has a fair chance. Why do we feel like other people deserve to have a special month over like other people from like different category? Like,
again, you're misrepresenting the reason these months exist, as do most media companies and other companies of the sort. These months exist to teach people. Black History Month, Asian History Month, or Asian Pacific Islander History Month if you want to be exact, but still. Latino History Month. Pride Month is to commemorate an event that happened in June. If you understand the reason these months exist, hell, even Native American, November. You learn more about Native American stuff in November. That's been happening for years now. Anyway, if you take a minute and look at what these months actually are, you'll realize it isn't about representation. Because one, representation is in media, not by months. These months are made to teach you the history of these groups. And you can do so during these months. People have asked me to make a Native American video for November, and I haven't decided yet. But you can teach people about Asian heritage during Asian Heritage Month or whatever. You're the only one, the only person who doesn't realize there's more than these types of months. And you fail to realize that these months are used in schools typically to teach a culture that you normally wouldn't learn. And you're pushing forth this narrative not out of bigotry, but out of out of ignorance. That's what, ignorance. Instead of doing research, you're making a video talking about something you don't know about. Please reconsider this in the future and do some research.
Why do we even need this? Why don't we just celebrate it through the entire year? Whether whatever skin tone color you are in, like all the way from if you're Caucasian, like people mostly Europeans and people mostly North Americans, to people who are brown skinned, like that counts as like Africans and African Americans and Latinos and natives, and then there's someone in the middle like Asians and people who are like live in like closer to the equator.
Now, this take on race is completely and utterly asinine. Basic looks at race could be, cut down to skin tone, which for one is foolish, ignorant, and some would say bigoted, because there's light-skinned Asians and dark-skinned Asians. India and Japan are good examples of dark and light respectively. There's light-skinned Latinos. There's a whole myriad of other races outside of Caucasian, which is a category of skin tone, I believe, more than race, because I don't think Caucasian's a race. Yeah, it's just asinine. You don't pay attention to actual science if you think this basic.
And also people from different all genders and every single country, we could just respect each other and hold a festival on like a Sunday and try your culture, try this. This is what we eat. This is what we celebrate. And we didn't have to have like an entire month. Do it just like do it like maybe like just a week or something. And
now, while this is a applicable thing to Pride Month, this is not an applicable thing to the History Months or the Heritage Months, because you can't teach history or heritage in a week. There's too much vast history with these people to be taught in a week. It is foolish, asinine even, to believe that it could all be taught in a week.
Or like a festival. And then everybody wins. So everyone, this is how we will get representation, equality, no oppression. No one will be complaining about everything.
Actually, it's pretty much scientifically proven that in times of peace, people, because we're not peaceful creatures, humans are relatively aggressive animals, will cause problems for our own nation to make something entertaining, basically. We crave violence and entertainment, and this is the only way to get it, is by complaining about stuff.
Because, this would encourage the people. So, for example, there could be a big a group of people. One person is, a light-skinned person. One person is a brown-skinned person. One person is a dark-skinned colored, close to black-colored. One person is Asian. One's Latino. One's Hispanic. One's Native. One's gay. One's lesbian. One's bisexual. One's transgender. One is queer. One is native. One is Hispanic. And there's one of like Asia, and there's a whole bunch of like other people with different sort of backgrounds, and they all gather together because they all have an interest in something, and they're not arguing over because they're different and because of something, and maybe they're part of this different group, but they're together because they like this, and they are not trying to fight over each other because, oh no, you should, I should have get more attention because I am in this group. So none of that. They were just doing it just together as friends and or allies. That's what we should probably work towards instead of trying to do that. And this marketing thing, they don't even really care about it. And
now, again, to your idyllic view in a second. I just want to say I agree with you on the marketing thing. They don't care. That's why you shouldn't listen to companies when they change their profile picture to a rainbow and say, oh, we care so much about this. If they cared so much, they'd be doing some pushback against these states doing anti-whatever laws. Now, as for your idyllic view, that's impossible due to the fact that humans, as I said earlier, are aggressive creatures. We want to fight. Sadly, it's just a fact of life. We are not born to be passive. We are the apex predators. We are top of the food chain, and with that comes a level of aggression. The same aggression that led to America trying to manifest destiny by taking over all of the North American continent. The same aggression that led England to unify into the United Kingdom, mostly. The same aggression that led the Romans to take all of Europe under its wing, basically. We are the top of the food chain because of this aggression. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be aggressive and accept that. But at the same time, it is an idyllic view to say we should all be passive and friendly when that is not how we're born. If we see, sadly, it's the case that when most people see somebody have a different culture, they want to fight that culture. You see it in Christianity and Islam. Those are two completely different cultures to some degree, and they fight all the time. Same with Judaism and Christianity. Same with a lot of religious culture. You see them fighting. It's the same with any culture. It's why fandoms fight. It's why gaming cultures fight. It's like this is just a thing that happens all the time. And you can't stop it. You can only ignore it.
And there are people from these groups that they don't really want to have these companies that just do marketing, and they just want to live their own lives. And we should really stop with that. And then they should just sell their own products, not having to focus on representation. Because whatever background you come from, just eat what you want, wear what you want. Although some are for a certain group of people, so that's different. And do what you are able to do, and otherwise we wouldn't have this problem about people dropping propaganda and people having fights on social media, friendships are split, and there's multiple parties gunning at each other.
Kim, that would not be solved by ending Pride Month or Black History Month or anything like that. And as a matter of fact, it did the opposite effect. because that group would feel like they're being erased. Because these months have been celebrated since the 60s, since the 90s. You get the idea, they've been so ingrained to our society now that we can't get rid of them. Which you can say is a good or bad thing. I don't particularly care. But still, these things have existed for so long that you can't get rid of them as a society. They are part of us now. Then these months aren't the problem. Both sides, like both political sides, would still exist if these months didn't exist. The only difference is there wouldn't be a month to celebrate the history of these people, the struggles of these people. It'd just be two sides fighting over the foolish shit, because that's what politics is. It's just a bunch of stupid people following idiots.
And everyone just ends up having a complete headache about it. So why don't we just scrap all this Black History Month, scrap Pride Month, scrap just about everything else? Just, focus on like a certain day. Like, I mean, we don't have like an issue with Teachers Day or like New Year's Eve or like a certain culture day. Or although we have like Remembrance Day or like Veterans Day and then people's birthdays and there's these special days. So we should have just kept it like that. Otherwise, we should not have this problem. Then that could be for the best.
This is so asinine. The pure idea that thousands of years of history, that hundreds of years of history, that all this history could be put together into one day. It is asinine, it is foolish, it is impossible. It is impossible. Again, you can make this argument for maybe Pride Month, but for the other months, and even Pride Month now, it's about teaching people. And it's foolish to say you should lock it down to one day. That's asinine. And even then, veterans have a month.
And maybe we should work towards that. Because otherwise, this is just like tearing us apart. Because everyone wants to be included, everyone wants to be represented, everyone wants to wants equality and respect, compassion, empathy, and yes, I understand that, but we need to really work on it and not focusing on so much representation and inclusion and equality and just equality. If we want to focus on that and inclusion, just scrap all that, because just that stuff is just exclusion, and it's just going to lead to more problems. And this video is not to attack any communities of that are out there. It's to bring us together and live as people and across the world together.
Kim, the truth of the matter is, not all, really not all, cultures can coexist. I don't think anybody's under the assumption that the Middle Eastern's culture of killing gay people and women who want to be their own people is a thing that could happen in Western society or even in most Eastern societies. That's not a culture that most of the world will accept. You can't just say, oh, we should all live together, but put our cultural differences aside. No, that's human society is based on culture. There's a large enough culture difference that nobody's going to want to put their differences aside. That's just how it is. Until everybody agrees on everything, there will not be peace anywhere, because humans are not made for peace.
And then just focus on development. How can we make the world a better place? And focusing on representation, Black History Month and Pride Month, that's not going to fix anything. Especially if the companies are going to use that for marketing. Let's bring the world together. And treat each other like equals. That should be the approach that we should be focusing on.
Now, I'm not going to do my normal sign off. No, the video is just going to end after I finish what I'm saying. But I will leave you with some food for thought, okay? You say the world would be better without Pride Month, without Black History Month. Okay, great. Then give a curriculum, that's what, curriculum to your schools to help these months become relics of the past. Because they're used to teach history. They're used to teach what these people have gone through. Be the change you want to be is a thing I've said multiple times. If you have an issue with any of these months, you think they shouldn't exist because people should be proud all the time, people should be who they are all the time. I agree with that. But the importance of these months cannot be summed up to representation, inclusivity. No, these months represent the history, the rich history of these people. You shouldn't try to erase the months or the history without first coming up with a solution to make sure the history isn't erased. Because we see it now. We see it now. People, schools like in Florida banning Black History Month because it's anti-white or whatever the fuck. We see it now happening in America. These our states going against our freedoms, the freedoms that our founding fathers fought for, the freedoms that they preach about wanting to protect, but then they don't do anything about. They circumvent said freedoms. All the story is, just very, very simple. Moral story is, these months need to exist because if they don't, then the history will cease to exist, and that would be a crime. A crime all of itself that should never happen. See you on the next video.